Hi guys, Mark Gellard here for Tennis One, and today I want to talk to you about one of the most important things in tennis, and that's the first step movement or quickness to the ball. Today I'd like to address a small misconception that a lot of players have, all the way from beginners and recreationals right the way up into the pros. And what I'm going to do today is show you some specific areas that you need to watch for when playing tennis that are going to help you improve your movement to the ball and become more explosive. Okay, so the first area that's very important for all tennis players is maintaining a wide or athletic base. And this is very important. If you watch the top players such as Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, Andy Murray, Roger Federer, or even Serena Williams, you watch these great athletes, the first thing to note is the width of their base. And that's going to be the key to set up all your other movements. And you need to make sure that your feet are nice and wide apart, back straight, chest out, and knees nice and bent. And that's going to be a key position for us to start from. And this is a part that a lot of players get wrong. A lot of players have their feet very, very close together, and this is not ideal for moving. When you move to a tennis ball, you need to remember that you're looking to get the optimum shin angles, which is about 45 degrees. When I turn around now and I put my feet down here like this, you're going to see there's about a 45-degree angle created in my shin. Now when I'm in this athletic position, this is now going to allow me to be explosive. I'm nice and low, I'm center of gravity is nice and low, and I can now push off in any direction with balance. So that's the first thing to look for as a tennis player. Are your feet wide enough? And in this video here, I've compiled some videos of Andy Murray and Rafa Nadal, and they're going to demonstrate this really well for you to see nice and clearly. Okay, so now we have the athletic or wide base to start from. What I want to talk to you about is the first step to the ball. And this is critical if you want to get there fast and explosively, but also balanced. A lot of players make a big mistake when they're moving to the ball. For example, if I'm moving to my forehand side, my right foot is closest to the ball. What I need to do is actually move first with my left foot. In other words, the last thing that needs to leave the ground is the foot closest to the ball. So if I'm moving to my forehand, I split with my wide base. My outside leg will automatically drop under my body if I'm in a wide or athletic base, like this, and then my left foot will push across. And as you can see, the last thing to leave the ground is the foot, or my right foot, that was closest to the ball. Same thing on the backhand. So make sure, if you have your wide base, that will be the first thing that fixes the problems that you may be incurring. But make sure that you do not step out to the ball with the foot closest. We will discuss in a moment when you would do this. But if you watch here as I move to my forehand, if I'm in a stationary position or I've recovered back to the middle of the court, I'm going to split step, land in my athletic base, and you're going to see that my foot closest to the forehand side, I'm a right-handed player, will automatically drop under my body, and then I can push out.
Okay, so here you can see Niall Clark, and he's demonstrating the plyo step. What I really want you to pay attention to is how the foot that is closest to the ball is actually going to come in under his body, and that's going to improve his shin angle so that he can push off with the maximum power. Watch again here how his outside foot will come in, and then he can push off. And here's a few demonstrations of some professional players. Rafa Nadal to start. He's going to move out to his backhand, which is his right, and that right foot is now going to drop under his body here, and then that will allow him to push off, and the last thing that's going to leave his be touching the ground still is that foot that was closest to the ball. Same here with Andy Murray. And as always, I like to give you a demonstration from another sport. Watch the soccer goalie who needs the most power. He's going to take the plyo step, and really that's going to give him the most ability to push off with explosion.
Okay, now a lot of players do like to move to the ball with the first step being with the outside leg. There is a time that you can use this step, and the time that you would use this step is when you're already moving in the direction of that shot. For example, you may have moved out wide to play a backhand, okay, and you've played your backhand, if you're recovering and then moving back to your forehand, you can automatically open up your hips using the flow step and continue moving in that direction. That's the only time you're going to be able to move like this. But if you can do what is optimally best for tennis players, which is recovering back to the middle of the court, taking your split step and landing in a nice wide base. And if you need power, if you have to push off all the way to the corners, you need to be wide and you need to take this plyo step in order to get to the ball fast. Otherwise, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. The third and final area I'd like to talk to you about today is the false step or the drop step. And this is what you're going to take when moving to a drop shot from a neutral or athletic base position. A lot of players prefer to take their first step by falling forwards. In actual fact, research, and a lot of research has been done in the labs from the NSCA, a lot of organizations have found that the most effective way to move to the drop shot is by taking a false step. And again, in this video in a minute, you're going to see Niall Clark demonstrating exactly how to do this movement. But by moving from an athletic base and pushing with your first step backwards or away from the ball like this, will allow you to get to the ball with the most speed and power. Once again, just like the flow step, if you're already running to the net, you won't take this movement. But from a neutral position, from a standing position, it's proven over and over again to take the false or drop step. A lot of coaches have tried to eliminate this shot, but this has been found to be detrimental to the player's speed. Make sure you take the drop step like Niall Clark is shown here.
Okay, so here we have all the 100-meter professional athletes at the starting blocks, and as I've already mentioned, instead of having both feet up close on the line, they've actually moved back a step, and this is going to be very similar to the position that tennis players get when moving to a drop shot, because this is going to allow them the most speed out of the blocks or to the ball. And again, here is Niall Clark demonstrating, and you'll see that position is very similar to a sprinter out of the blocks. He drops that back foot back and then allows him to push off with maximum speed. Finally, here we see Nadal, and you're going to see him take a split step and run for a drop shot. He's going to split here and then drop step. And that's again going to give him the most amount of speed and power to the ball.
Thanks very much for taking the time to watch this video, and keep checking back to Tennis One for more great information. Thanks for watching. I'm Mark Geller.